jeszcze może podrążmy temat, tym razem jego służby, a później trzeba się będzie chyba jakoś go stąd pozbyć.
Shouldn't you be off directing traffic or something?
You have seen the Parisian traffic, no?
Yeah, so?
I could direct the traffic. The most dangerous, the east side of Rome. Or I can sit here and enjoy the sun, the architecture, and the Sauvignon. Which would you choose?
Yeah, but I'm not a policeman. What happened to duty?
An excellent question, monsieur.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Ma trochę taki przepity głos, więc kto wie, co on tutaj pije przed kafe. Z tłumem George nie będzie miał ochoty rozmawiać, więc uderzmy od razu w kierunku klauna i z nim podyskutujmy.
Hey, you with the balls.
Oui?
Look, a red nose.
Oh, you say, whoop-de-doo.
Have you seen this man before?
No.
Feast your eyes on this.
Incroyable. Is it real?
I think so.
Some people believe that great gems always have curses upon them.
Oh, that's garbage. Although, now that I think about it, both of the people who had this before me disappeared in mysterious circumstances. And the guy who was supposed to get this was shot and then murdered in his hospital bed. Do you want it?
No, thank you.
Ale coś w tym jest, ale to z tego względu, że po prostu tam, gdzie są wielkie pieniądze, wielkie skarby, tam też jest wielka żądza zdobycia tych skarbów. No i to tak bardzo często się kończy. Dążenie do władzy, dążenie do bogactwa, no niestety często niesie za sobą wiele okrucieństw i przelewów krwi.
Does this lab pass mean anything to you?
You work in a lab.
No, try again.
You steal lab passes?
No. Well, not as a habit. This was a special case.
Trafiony, zatopiony.
This gadget is a sewer key.
I do not want it, thank you.
Well, I'm not selling it. I just wanted your opinion.
It is hardly my area of expertise.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
You smoke.
No, I don't.
In that case, it means nothing to me.
Does this plaster interest you?
Well...
Forget it. Forget that I asked.
Tak, swoją drogą, pan Clown też do milczków nie należy.
What do you think of this?
It is a medical device, oui?
Oui. Yes. It didn't seem right to fry somebody's palm when they make their living with their hands. Does this grease paint mean anything to you?
It looks like one of mine, or at least another jongleur.
Or a clown?
Mais naturellement, a clown!
Hardly a breakthrough. I've got a medieval tripod.
And my Uncle Claude has hemorrhoids. So what?
Co za riposta, jeszcze wypowiedziana takim radosnym głosem. Dobra, tutaj zwrócę uwagę na to, że akurat pod względem dubbingu, który jest bardzo dobry, ale liczba aktorów dubbingowych nie jest w tej grze aż tak duża. Powtarzają się głosy i jednak czasem to słychać.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
Le Templier? Ah, the last Grand Master, Jacques Dumoulin, was burnt on an island in the Seine in 1314.
Wow. You're pretty well educated for a juggler.
No, monsieur. I read it on that board over there.
No, ale i tak masz niezłą wiedzę, nawet jeśli pochodzi ona z tej tabliczki.
How did you learn to be a juggler?
Juggler? What is this juggler?
It's you. You juggle, that makes you a juggler.
No, I am a jongleur.
A jongler? What's that?
Mon Dieu. A jongleur is an artist, a master of the contragravitic aeroballetic mysteries. In centuries past, the courts of the crowned heads of Europe had the jongleurs. witty, erudite men to whom the monarchs turned in their hours of need.
Wait a minute, wait. Let me get this straight. Our enemies are at the borders, plague ravages the land, and the peasants are revolting. Thank God we've got Chuckles the Jongler to throw his balls around. I don't think so. That juggling doesn't look so difficult.
Oh, it does not, does it not? Perhaps you feel you could do better, no?
I'll give it a try.
Be my guest.
I had no idea what I was doing. But this guy was obviously an idiot, so how difficult could it be? A lot more difficult than I'd thought. That's how difficult. Still, it was my big chance to be derided by complete strangers.
Nawet więcej niż przez jedną obcą osobę. Tak, w każdym razie...
Not so easy after all, is it?
No, I guess not.
W każdym razie dyskusja o żonglerce niezwykle ciekawa.
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
No a teraz wróćmy do naszego sierżanta.
Hello again, officer.
Hello again, monsieur.
What do you think of the juggler?
Ah, he is excellent, most watchable.
But he's blocking the thoroughfare and obstructing traffic.
So? He is amusing. The traffic isn't. If he wants to block it, who am I to say no?
You're a cop.
Ah, oui. So I am. Ah, well.
So you're not going to do anything about this guy?
No.
He probably doesn't even have a license.
Ah, a license. This I had not considered.
So what are you going to do?
The instant I return to the station, I shall check.
Return to the station? Why not just ask him?
And spoil his concentration? What kind of a barbarian do you take me for?
Tak uroczy pan policjant.
Ah, you are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No, although you juggle like one. Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing. And not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Who ever heard of a plain-clothes clown?
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur, you have it.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur, I'll be there.
Nie mamy nic do stracenia, bo trudno wyglądać gorzej od żałosnego głupca, więc gorzej już na pewno nie będzie.
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No, I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
Okay, now for my secret weapon. The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury. Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change.
Klaun złapał focha, strzelił focha, policjant nie miał już czego obserwować, to sobie poszedł. Dobry sposób, aczkolwiek efekt żonglowania był ten sam. Ja bym na miejscu widowni tak nie bił braw, aczkolwiek tak to jest, że wystarczy niektórym ludziom powiedzieć, że mają mają naprzeciwko sobie kogoś sławnego, czy kogoś wykonującego jakiś zawód i będą bez słowa bić brawo i udawać, że są zafascynowani nim. Bywały już takie eksperymenty, że ktoś udawał sławną osobę i rozdawał mnóstwo autografów. Przyjrzyjmy się tym tabliczkom. Może coś ciekawego tam będzie napisane. Ewentualnie namalowane.
Close up, I could see a faded inscription. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence. The inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had cracked and was falling away. I wondered why.
Trudno powiedzieć, ale może zbadajmy, co tam po drugiej stronie jest. Czy może...
Nothing hollow there.
Właśnie. Czy może coś jest za tymi tabliczkami? Jakaś pusta przestrzeń?
Hey, that's hollow. It was time for some brutal destruction. Close up, I could see the plaster was thinner where I'd broken through, and behind it were some cogs and a lever. The inscription was undecipherable. I wonder... Here goes. Hey, cool!
No, może uda się całkowicie odsunąć płytę.
Inside the hole, I could see one of the cogs had come loose and jammed the mechanism solid.
No niestety, ale uratuje nas ta łódka. Być może. W każdym razie spróbujmy wziąć tę linę i przywiązać do tych drzwi i później ją znowu wciągnąć. Być może dzięki temu uda się nam te drzwi rozwalić całkowicie. Tak jest. No i czy teraz jest tam wystarczająco dużo miejsca, żeby wejść do środka? Jest. Tu pewnie mechanizm.
It would take a blacksmith or an engineer to do anything with that.
Dobra. Idziemy przed siebie.
I could hear voices from the lit area.
Dobiegają stamtąd głosy, więc być może tam znajdują się jacyś ludzie. Także może nie ryzykujmy i nie schodźmy dalej, niżej. Tutaj jest jakaś szczelina. Może uda się podejrzeć, co tam po drugiej stronie się znajduje.
In the beginning was the end.
An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness.
In the end will be a beginning.
An end to our enemies heralds our new day. Report. The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Good. Mademoiselle,
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower. We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. The millennium is almost upon us, and everything is in place for the rise of our new order. Almost. Professor, where is the broken sword?
As we discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is, as a corollary, hindered.
And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say, our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lakmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results. Not petty bickering. Not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course, my apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present.
Ha!
But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund dealt with him on my orders.
I beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
No, to się porobiło. Czyli wiemy już, że osoby, które się uważają za następców templariuszy, czy za po prostu templariuszy, no istnieją tutaj i coś knują.
I could hear voices from the lit area.
Czyli, no tak. Chciałem chyba wpaść w ich łapy, Jeszcze raz tam spojrzę.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition. The new millennium will belong to us. The next time that we meet, it will be to become the princes of this world.
Czyli wiemy już, że Marquet pracował dla nich, tak samo Pigram. Natomiast ten jeden z tych panów to... Jedna z tych osób to jest profesor, którego widzieliśmy już w hotelu w mieście, w Paryżu. Także doborowe towarzystwo się tutaj zebrało. Sami zlikwidowali swojego człowieka, Marquet, bo był dla nich ciężarem. Chyba obawiali się, że właśnie może komuś tę informację niepowołanemu przekazać. No i jest jeszcze jeden ich człowiek, który udał się do Syrii. No ale ten asasyn, zabójca, może go tam dopaść. Dobra. Co to za kółko? Jakiś krąg tajemniczy.
There was a large circle marked out on the floor with a stump in the middle. Around the circle I could see words inlaid into the stone. On the circle's circumference were the Templar seal and two Latin phrases. Non omnis moriar and clarior e tenebris. I shall not die completely, the brighter from the darkness.
Bardzo tajemniczo to wygląda.
I noticed three small notches around the edge of the stump's top.
Trzy małe nacięcia, czyli powinien pasować ten trójnóg do tego miejsca. Umieśćmy teraz na trójnogu, umieśćmy ten klejnot.
The light falling from above struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays, and each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the seal, I could read M-A-R-I-B, Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant. Nico, I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights Templar?
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars. They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all this?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria, but they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Then the Neo-Templars are ahead of us. Klausner beat me to it.
You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay. What about the tripod?
I'll send it back to André, anonymously.
Oj, nie wiem, czy tak łatwo to zostawimy.
Do you think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
Bardzo, bardzo duży przełom w naszym śledztwie. Czyli tak, no wszystko się teraz składa w jedną całość. Osoby zamordowane to byli członkowie tej sekty, tego zgromadzenia templariuszy. Raczej trudno ich nazwać pełnoprawnymi templariuszami po tylu wiekach. Raczej wątpię, by się uchowali. Czyli właściwie wszyscy, i Pigram, i Marquet, i osoby, które zginęły, i ten pan, który pojechał do Syrii, oni wszyscy zaliczali się do tej grupy, która chce odnaleźć miecz Bafometa. No a ten morderca, cały ten Khan, on chciał ich powstrzymać i uważa się za tego Hasasyna legendarnego, też sprzed wieków. Dobra. Dużo mamy przemyśleń teraz, także myślę, że jest odpowiedni moment na zakończenie odcinka. Pojedziemy wkrótce do Syrii, no i tam pewnie będą się toczyć kolejne odcinki. Tymczasem do usłyszenia, pa pa.